Hello everyone and welcome to episode 151 of the WMMA 5 series here on the channel. It is Pride FC Worldwide live in the USA Volume 3 and 4 is tomorrow, so yeah, I like to combine this as a 2-day thing. Potentially, I thought about having it just be like showing both shows in one episode, but that would probably be a bit too much at the same time because obviously we're not sure exactly how many as far as fights, how the fights are going to play out and everything like that. But man, I'm super excited to see how the card plays out. Literally past the halfway point of the save as far as the rest of this year. We just have, man. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot left, but there's still a good chunk. You know, as far as there's probably a good solid, I would say about 10, 15 shows left still. But we're coming up on the tail end here. So the pieces of mail, they're all basically extensions besides Megumi Fuji, who has been in Smack Girl for the past, I would say, literally pretty much from the start. She just come off a loss. We might see her at the tail end of this, depending on if she's ready to go. Yeah, she's recuperating 44 days, so she might get one fight in before the end of the series. But yeah, just a bunch of extensions. Khabib, Chris Lieben, Andrei Simonov, Don Fry, Forrest Griffin, Glover Teixeira, and then Blagoy, Ivanov. As let's get right into it though. For this main event for for the first of 2 days of back-to-back, as far as the celebration of a nation, for this worldwide live in the USA Volume 3 show, Tara La Rosa, Shayna Baszler is our main event. Mitsuhiro Ishida taking on Joe Stevenson, also on the card. John Fitch versus Luke Como, Dennis Hallman, Chris Lytle. Now this, listen, Dan Anderson and John Jones is crazy. First of all, the fact that it's so low on the card is also crazy. But that should be a fun fight there, obviously. And Seth Petrozelli taking on Greg Wiccan. Seth Petrozelli has been an absolute savage as of late, and Greg Wiccan is someone that could potentially wrestle him down on the ground. We'll see how that plays out. Styles make fights, says Frank Mir taking on Brett Rogers in the prelim, as well then Jeremy Stevens taking on Michael Johnson in a lightweight contest, which that should be a fun fight though. Those two guys have an exciting style and can really kick off the show in a great way there with the prelim. So they have fought once before. Tara La Rosa and Shayna Baszler, of course, was at the Bushido in Beijing show in 2008, which Shayna Baszler won by submission. Two of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world on the female MMA side of things, as Tara La Rosa second, Shayna Baszler third. Obviously, number one is, of course, Vanessa Porto. Tara La Rosa main eventing for the second time in Pride FC. She trains at AMC Pinkerton, which Shayna Baszler is 0-1 against other members of that team. 5-2 for the Blurcats that pick. Shayna Baszler, slight favorite. She is 5-2 in Pride FC 12-4. She's coming off a loss to Vanessa Porto, obviously, last year at the Fright Night 2 Electric Boo show. But the thing that she's only lost twice, and both of them being Vanessa Porto, is pretty interesting. She did win with the Kimura in the third round of that previous fight with Tara La Rosa. This was an upset, I believe. Yeah, she was a plus 180 upset. This was the semifinals of that Women's Grand Prix. But that should be a fun fight to see, as far as, because obviously that was when someone had a fight going into that as well. As far as Tara La Rosa had a fight, and so did Shayna Baszler. So they're both coming in fresh and looking to get a major win. Both of these girls are. Obviously, they're still eyeing for a chance to knock off Vanessa Porto, looking to avenge a loss as well as Tara La Rosa, but she hasn't fought Vanessa Porto twice either, so maybe a chance for her to get a win. Of course, she main evented this show last year, as came up short against Vanessa Porto. Was a decision loss though, so she has something to hang her hat high on that. But this should be a fun fight though, to see how that plays out. The Endless Warrior, Mitsuhiro Ishida versus Joe Daddy Stevenson. Joe Stevenson has really fell apart as of late. Be nice to see him to get back into the swing of things here. Ishida has an overall record of 0-1 against other members of the Death Clutch Gym team. Ishida's won 3 of his last 5 fights by decision. Yeah, Joe Stevenson, I mean, he's 2-4 right now. Not great, as far as, it's crazy to think we signed him when he was 16-2 in a UFC, 16-3 rather. Former UFC lightweight champion. Was an absolute savage. He beats Gilbert Melendez in his debut. Loses to Toby Mata, loses to BJ Penn. Beats Tetsuji Kato. Split decision loss to Jockey Manson, of course, losing to Uriah Faber as well. Just has not been a great run for him as of late. But I think he's got a good chance here against Mitsuhiro Ishida, who is 3-2, though. It's crazy to think how many fights he's had when he's only been signed for a couple of years. Past 3 fights have been poor, though. Thought he was going to lose to Tony Ferguson. Beats Hayao Sakura. I think he's going to lose here, though, tonight against Joe Stevenson. We'll see, though. It's John Fitch versus the silent assassin Luke Como, as both are world-ranked middleweights, even though obviously they fight at welterweight. Luke Como 14th, John Fitch 18th in that regard. Luke Como's won 3 of his last 5 fights by decision. He is the favorite, which is interesting, because John Fitch has been on a tear as of late. As far as 4 in a row, beat Nick Diaz, beat Sean Pearson, beat Dennis Hallman, finished Dennis Hallman too, which is very impressive, and had this unanimous decision win over KJ Noons. Could be a bad fight, though. You know, anytime you got a John Fitch fight in there, you're kind of flirting with danger a little bit. But Luke Como, he won in his debut against Mike Pyle earlier in the year. It's crazy to think he's already fighting again. That was back in April, and he's already got a second fight lined up here in July. It's a big fight for him. Big fight for him. And Luke Como, if he can get a win over John Fitch, that would be massive. If John Fitch can get a win here, probably a top 5 guy to take on next. Because, I mean, you think about it, Dennis Hallman was 7th. KJ Noons was 9th when he beat him. I think that's a well-deserved top 5 fight, you know, for John Fitch. So that's massive. But Superman, Dennis Hallman taking on Chris Lights Out Lytle. This should be a fun fight, though. Chris Lytle's the man. He's a big favorite to win this one, which is very fascinating. 7-inch reach advantage. A little bit of a significant weight advantage as well. Obviously, Dennis Hallman, a former welterweight champion, was on a absolute tear when he was the welterweight champion. 15-8. Pride FC, 34-11 as a whole, but I'd see there. Past couple of years have not been so kind to him. Lost to everybody but Sean Pearson and Jake Ellenberg. Coming off a loss, you know, to John Fitch, but at least he beat Jake Ellenberg. It was a unanimous decision win, though, unfortunately, there. If he can get back to the armbar wins like he did in the mid-2000s, he'd be back up at the top of the welterweight, you know, table, but just not looking like that's going to be the case anymore. It definitely seems like he is slowly coming out of his prime. He's 34 now. It's getting tougher. Chris Lytle, though, obviously a veteran as well, but he's got some fucking dynamite in his hands, though. It's 4-2. Just lost to Jason Von Flue, but he did get a submission win over Luis Santos, which was massive to think about from that perspective. This would be a great win for him. Great win for Chris Lytle if that happens. I'm excited to see that fight, though, because that's going to be a fun fight to see how that plays out. Then Dan Indo Anderson and John Bones Jones. Crazy. John Jones, obviously, significant weight advantage and reach advantage, 9-inch reach advantage. This is a big fight, yeah, for John Jones. You're getting into, you know, Dan Anderson, obviously, someone that at one time was the middleweight champion in Pride FC, then just kept on fighting a lot of tough guys. You know, Rampage, Anderson Silva, Chuck Liddell. You know, went through the buzzsaw as of late, and we let him get a couple of fights and rings. He came back there to end out his decade. He's 19-10. Got knocked out by Marcel, which that's a tough fight, though. Nonetheless, Marcel's a savage. But to think a guy that was a middleweight champion 5-6 years ago now has to fight somebody like John Jones, who obviously we know what type of guy John Jones becomes as far as in the MMA world. But to have him fight at 205 and being that big, he's going to be an absolute problem for so many people. And yeah, that's going to be a tough fight for Dan Anderson. Especially giving up the reach, too. Like, that's going to be brutal. Seth Petrozelli taking on the Gladiator. Greg Wicken. Petrozelli, of course, finished 4 of his last 5 opponents. Got the 5-inch reach advantage. Greg Wicken is still the favorite, which is interesting, because Seth Petrozelli, of course, has only lost to Roy Nelson, which Roy Nelson's a top 5 guy in this, which is, again, funny to think about. But it's obviously had great to excellent fights, pretty much his entire career, but a couple of times they've been decent fights. Should be an exciting fight, even though Greg Wicken has had some stinkers in his day. He is on a 2-fight win streak, as far as winning against Mark Kerr and choking out Frank Mir in the second. And he also beat Gabriel Gonzaga, too, which was pretty impressive. This should be a good way to kick off the show, because Seth Petrozelli can finish it in an instant. Open for a fun way to kick off the show there. And then our prelims, Frank Mir, Brett the Grim Rogers. It's crazy that Frank Mir has stunk up the joint in this simulation, because thought he was going to be a real tear, obviously. Debuts against Rafael Corina, loses. Split decision loss. Gets knocked out by Roy Nelson. Loses to Gabriel Gonzaga. Loses in the rematch to Roy Nelson. Obviously, the submission loss to Greg Wicken. He has been tumbling down the ladder as of late. This would be a great win for him over Brett Rogers. He is the big favorite for a reason. This is a bit of a tomato can crushing scenario for Frank Mir to get his confidence back up. But Brett Rogers, he is going to be a big guy in there. he is pretty talented as far as being able to have a great wrestling background and is able to look for that one-punch knockout. If he gets it here over Frank Mir, that would be massive, and that'd be a crazy upset for him. Could definitely happen. I'd say he's got a puncher's chance, for sure. And then Jeremy, Little Heathen, Stevens taking on Michael, the Menace Johnson. Both have won 3 of the last 5, both have rather finished 3 of the last 5 opponents, though Little Heathen Stevens is, he hasn't won since April of 2007. It's been a while for him as far as he's waited a long time. He didn't have a fight basically the rest of 2008 or 2009. Finally gets his first fight here in 2010. 6-2, taking on Michael Johnson. Both guys are making their Pride FC debuts. Michael Johnson 6-2. He is coming off a 3-fight win streak in rings. Really, the tough loss to Eddie Alvarez was pretty interesting, but he's beaten, Gray Maynard. He's beaten Scott Hines. I think he's got a good chance to beat, as far as Little Heathen Stevens to kick off the prelim. This should be a fun fight, though. I think they both have exciting styles, and I think they both can mesh well, and we'll see what happens. Herodine's a referee, ringside judges. Here we go, underway. Both fighters step in and engage. Missing the right hook. Here comes a counter from Michael Johnson with a right jab and a low kick that doesn't connect. They engage now. Left jab. Can't hit the right cross of Stevens. There's a 2 out of the flurry of 3 punches. Hits the left hand as both fighters meet in the center again. Stevens misses the big right hand. Here comes the counter from Johnson. Attacks with a jab, but the big left hand misses. So far, Michael Johnson's doing a good job as far as countering shots. There's a couple of jabs followed by a solid left hand again. It's a quick right hook this time from Michael Johnson. Does it again. Keeps on countering. Slipping past the right hook and attacks with a quick right jab and a left cross. Hasn't done a lot of damage, but has been fucking him up. And there's a jab, but can't hit the right cross from Stevens. It's now Johnson with a left hook. There's a right jab and a left hook, or left hand rather, lands clean from Johnson. Ooh, that might have smashed his jaw. Did Michael Johnson on Jeremy Stevens. Surprised that did not knock down Jeremy Stevens, or let alone knock him out. There's a right jab and a left cross now. Slipping past the right hook and attacks with the counter right jab and a left cross that just misses. They meet in the center, start to strike, dodging the right hand and counter attacks with a few quick strikes. And then a left hand that lands clean. It's crazy how badly he has been outstruck here. He does have the power, I think, to make something happen. I just don't see it. Oh, there's a wicked left uppercut off the counter. Then he knocks him down, looking to finish him here. Heavy shot after heavy shot. Please step in, Herbie. And he does. And that is it. Your winner by TKO will be Michael Johnson. What a win. And what a performance from Michael Johnson. To have that type of power at lightweight is pretty crazy. And that's a dangerous, dangerous man. Michael Johnson, thanks to everyone connected to Legends MMA for being prepared for the fight. The sponsor supporting him financially celebrates. Visibly delighted is Michael Johnson celebrating, starting his Pride career with a victory. And our next prelim fight, heavyweight contest, Frank Mir, Brett Rogers. Minus 500 favorite for Frank Mir. I still wouldn't even say he's I would not count out Brett Rogers, is all I'm saying. Ringside judges, Mir gets a good reaction, though. Obviously, we're fighting in Vegas, so he's getting a home crowd tonight there as the fight begins. They touch the gloves. Left hand from Mir. Off dark with a jab, lands a nice right hook, though, as Rogers. They engage. Slipping past the right hook and attacks with the right hand, the lands clean. Surprised that Frank Mir has not even tried to take him down. As Rogers misses the right hook, he gets countered with a quick left jab and a right hand that nearly fails to connect. There's a low kick there after missing the right cross. Does Rogers as a left hand exchange. 1-2 doesn't land either blow. Misses the big right hand, pulling off a foul. So here comes Mir with a left jab and a solid right. Misses the right hook and leaves himself open for a countered left hook. Mir had looked like he was angling for a grapple, but he couldn't take the initiative punch from Rogers, but Mir avoids it. Taking a few gulps of breath, Rogers is given the first hit and he's starting to tire now. Both fighters step in to strike, but nobody manages to land anything. Mir manages to miss the jab and also misses the right hook. Rogers throws 2 punches, but Mir has a good guard and absorbs all of them with ease. Rogers moves forward, constantly trying to pressure Mir into exchanging strikes. There's a left-hand exchange. Quick 1-2, doesn't land either blow. Coming off a takedown now, Rogers partially defends it, ends up hopping on one foot while Mir has hold of the other one. Mir drives Rogers against the ropes as he tries to maintain control, but Rogers, a little bit too big for him, is able to circle out, and back into the center we go. Missing the right cross, here comes Mir with the right cross of his own, and now Rogers' shoulders are hunched. He's studying his opponent, looking for that opportunity he needs. Here comes the takedown attempt from Frank Mir. He's got it. Finally gets this takedown as they're looking for a leg lock. Rogers keeps the guard tight, though. He's going to keep on going for it. They have some big right hands, though. Trying to have him cover up and try to pass now. Blocks him. Oh, and now he's got side control. Looking for the Kimura. It's in deep. Holy shit. Well, he somehow managed to pull out of that. That was crazy. Still got side control, though. Minute left. Looking for it again. Defends himself well again. Looking for mount. Rolls over, just gives up his back instead. Some big shots here. Survives thanks to the round being over. Frank Mir did a great job there once he finally got him on the ground. Hopefully he does the same thing here in the second, trying to get him down. Rogers is just shattered now. Tries to just get into a clinch. He does so. Mir's trying to dirty box him now. Frank Mir's starting to get tired. Rogers is forcing a strike exchange. There's two counter left hands from Mir. There's a jab that's find the mark on the right hook. There's a jab and a right hook. They engage in the center as Mir slipping past the right hook and counters the left jab and a great right hook. Two fighters come together and strike, missing the right hook and gets countered with a jab and a good right hand. Standing and trading, not working for Rogers so far in this fight. He's definitely been outstruck and outclassed so far. He does have some punching power, though, and he might be able to get saved. I doubt it will happen. I think he's going to suffer the same fate as Jeremy Stevens here. But Frank Mir's starting to feel fatigued, and he's starting to lower his hands a fraction. Oh, and here comes Rogers' big right hand. Misses, though, putting off balance. Here comes Mir with a left jab and a good right hand. Looking for the takedown. He's got the takedown. A minute left, though. Trying to pass guard. He's got a half guard. Several big shots landing. Not much left to the tank, though, as Frank Mir or Brett Rogers here going into the third and final round. Rogers misses the right hook. Leaves him up for a counter with a good left jab and a good right hook. Oh, nails the right cross as Rogers. As Mir's off target with a jab and nails his right cross. Boy, we are really coming in now with big right hands that land clean from Frank Mir. Dodging the right hand, counterattacks with a jab and a right cross. This is crazy. There's a left hand. There's a vicious right cross. Oh my god, Frank Mir gets caught with a fucking right cross. Is it going to finish him here? Struggling to deal with him. Hangs on, though, is Frank Mir. Unreal. I cannot believe that. I mean, he gets caught every time, it seems like. That is wild, though. The Brett Rogers knocked him down. I don't think it's going to be enough to sway it. Yeah, I think Frank Mir does win by unanimous decision, though Brett Rogers caught him in the final round. Tough break for Brett Rogers. He would have finished him. That would have been a hell of an upset. But yeah, it just felt like, Frank Mir did enough in the entire fight. It was pretty close when you look at the fight metrics, though, but I still think, Mir, he definitely had the first. I think he had the second, too, so if you're up 2 rounds like this, you gotta go for broke, and at least Frank Mir, he didn't lose, thank God, but, I mean, not an impressive performance as far as he had him in the first. It just took him too long. I don't know why his game plan is always try to strike and stand up with opponents when he should have just tried to keep taking him down. And once he got him down, get a submission or, TKO him. But he thanks for having connected to his fight camp. All his favorite sponsors, all of his friends, famous sports, gives a show respect to Brett Rogers as well. On to the main card now. Seth Petrozelli, the Gladiator, Greg Wick, another heavyweight contest. Plus 100, minus 130, pretty close, but this is kickboxer versus wrestler. Styles make fights. We'll see how true that will be for this one as John McCarthy's referee, ringside judges. Here we go. We're underway. Greg Wick with a takedown right out of the gate. Not happening, though. Just remained standing. Got him up against the ropes. Looking to dirty box him. But Petrozelli using it is preventing any damage from happening, though. It's a good job there. Petrozelli still pressed against the ropes. A short left uppercut now. Thank God Big John's going to separate him. Quick flurry of punches from Petrozelli. All of them hit home. Then lands the right hand to the body. Can't hit the step left jab. Catches on the right hook to the body. The body shots are interesting. There's a quick shot there from Petrozelli. Then lands a straight right hand. It's a nice jab and a straight right again. Now suffered a gash underneath the eye of Greg Wicken. Takes a chance and shoots in on Petrozelli. Not having him taken down again. Tracked him against the ropes. Seth Petrozelli, he's just stuck against Greg Wicken, just trying to control him against the ropes and just kind of lay and pray standing, which is such a unique strategy. There's a nice jab and a right cross from Petrozelli. Can't hit the left jab, hits the right cross, it lands hard though. Probably broken his nose on that. That's going to be a problem for Greg Wickham. Petrozelli's getting tired though. There's a jab and a beauty of a straight right. If he could finish him here in the first, this would be fantastic for Petrozelli. But he keeps on hanging on. I mean, he's getting worn down by just getting up against the ropes, but now Wicken's hitting a couple of punches to the side of the head. Petrozelli works enough space to clear it out. 20 seconds left. Wicken's just going to try to get him down. He finally gets the takedown. But, yeah, I mean, that's a great round for Petrozelli. Landed a couple of major shots. I think Wiccan probably won the round, unfortunately, but at least Petrozelli probably broke his nose, and he did a lot of damage though. I like siding with the guy who did the most damage. His left eye's swollen. He's probably got a broken nose. He's got blood everywhere. He got fucked up. Cutman's gonna have to try and patch him up now. Looking for the second round. Look, what a left and a straight right hand that both of them land hard. There's a jab and a right cross that lands hard. Petrozelli fucking him up. Uses left jab but finds the big right hand to the body, failing to land. Left jab and scores the right cross that lands hard again. Crunching right hook now. I can't believe Greg Wiccan hasn't even been rocked at this point. There's a jab and a big right hand. Wiccan looking for the takedown. Not happening though. Just trying to survive. Grappling up against the ropes. Just got him there. Trying to keep control. Big John's smartly going to separate him, and maybe Petrozelli can land one more shot before the end of the second. Hits the left jab and the big right hand, follows up, misses, and he's getting very tired. I think he's up. If he's not, it's 1-1 for sure, because he definitely won that second. So we'll see what happens in the final round. There's a crunching straight right on the jaw and knocks him down. If he can finish him here, this would be fantastic. He's too slow, though. Wiccan's back up, and there's another stunning shot, a stunning right hook, and he knocks him out with that. Seth Petrozelli is a menace out here. 14-7-1, no contest. Your winner, and a hell of a fight, too. Crazy. Crazy fight. What a win, though, for Seth Petrozelli. Easy money, though, with a plus 100. Win with the upset. Now Dan Indo Henderson versus John Bones Jones. This fight's going to be crazy. This fight works out so well, besides when you look at it from a perspective of this absolute unit of John Jones as far as what he could do standing. But as far as from a wrestling perspective, they match up pretty well. With Herb Dean's the referee, ringside judges. John Jones obviously fighting a lot heavier than 205. Here we go. They stand and trade blows. Nothing really comes of it, though. Dodges the right hand. Counterattacks with a pair of jabs, followed by a body kick that fails to land as well. Oh, and there's a superb head kick, though. Oh, God. Knocks him down with the head kick. Looking to finish him off. And he does so. That's what John Jones can finally, using his striking ability to get something going. What a win for John Jones, 5-0. As he praises his team at Team Bomb Squad, is very responsible. All of his fans came out to support him. Our next contest, welterweight contest, Superman Dennis Hallman, Chris Lights Out Lytle. Minus 600 favor for Chris Lytle's insane when you really think about it. Referee for this contest is Big John McCarthy again. Ringside judges. Lytle looking bigger. It's got the reach advantage. Probably has the better hands as well. Let's see what happens. Hallman with a left hook. There's a vicious right cross. Knocks him down. Holy shit, looking to finish him here. Hallman somehow surviving. There's now some knees to the ribs off of side control. Looking for the arm triangle. That's not happening. You're not going to submission Dennis Hallman. Don't think that's going to happen. A handful of punches now. Big John's going to stand him up. Two counter left hands from Lytle. There's a 1-2, but Hallman fails to land either blow. Stepping in to strike. There's a left jab. But as far as from Hallman countering a left jab and a right hand that nearly fails to connect after Lytle misses the big right hand. Combination ends with a kick to the legs, fails to land. Hallman finds a way past his opponent's guard and lands a sharp 1-2. There's a pair of left jabs, also hits a left hook to the body. Hallman confidently moves in closer, looking to throw some strikes. Throws a quick punch, doesn't hit it though. Counters the right hand with a couple of jabs and followed by a great right hook. Fantastic stuff. Hallman comes forward and the two fires engage in some strikes. Chris Lytle hits two left hands in the counter. Can't hit the sub left jab and hits the right hand. Attacks with the strikes. Lands a left hand in the exchange. Hallman lands a left hand, but his big right hand follows up, misses. Lytle appeared to be going to try to get in close, but Hallman took the initiative. As throws a punch where Lytle avoids it. Hallman looks confident, shortening the range, and is looking to strike. Hallman throws two quick punches, but doesn't hit either of them. Confidently comes in closer. Appeared to be going to try to get in close, but Hallman took the initiative. Can't connect with the jab, and scores with the right cross. Stepping in to strike. Lytle avoids the big right and fights back with a jab and right hook. It's ducked now. Fighters go toe-to-toe with strikes, but the flurry ends without really anything damaging. Shots landing. 1-2 from Hallman, fails to land. Lytle gets a hold of him now. Defends himself from the knee strike. Using the knee strike from the grapple and catches him in the knee to the side of the stomach now. Lytle does it. Now Hallman is stuck with his back to the ropes. And that's the end of the first round. Crazy that Dennis Hallman was able to recover from that. It looked like it was going to be over very, very quickly, but Lytle showing that he is a favorite for a reason, though. Completely dominated him for the most part. As Hallman misses the big right hand, allowing Lytle to attack with a counter jab and a leg kick that just misses. Hallman throws a punch, Lytle avoids it. Live's able to move in fast and clinch up with Hallman. I'm just crazy to see how much Dennis Hallman has really fallen, and no answer for the slick trip now. Chris Lytle is just out striking him, out grappling him. He's just got him all day long. Now Hallman looking for another to get taken down again. Fights it hard. Can't get him down though. Loses grip entirely. Now Hallman circles out. Hallman's starting to lose a little bit in the gas tank there. There's a left jab and a quick kick to the lead leg. Lane's left jab doesn't reach the hook to the body though. There's a quick left jab and a powerful straight right. And he knocks him out cold with that one. Chris lights out Lytle. Does exactly that. Turns the lights out on Superman Dennis Hallman. As he thanks Seven Connect to Henzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu for helping prepare for the fight and the sponsors for supporting financially. He asks who he'd like to fight next. Says he's got a lot of respect for Luke Como, saying and thinks that'd be a great fight. We might just see that, depending on what happens here. But between John Fitch and Luke Como, 16-3, 17-6 wrestling background for John Fitch, Muay Thai Jiu-Jitsu background for Luke Como. Very, very close to the betting lines. Big John McCarthy's referee again. Ringside judges, here we go. We are underway. They touch gloves. Fitch, of course, looking for the takedown. Gets pushed down on his hands and knees. Almost some right hands. Fairly minimal damage, though. Looking for the knee strike, but quickly back up. And now, very quick again as Fitch looking for another takedown. Not happening again. Looking for the sweep. Can't get him down. 4 takedown attempts in 2 minutes. Still can't get him down. The 5th one now is... Look at Luke Kuma, though. Drops down, wraps his arms around his legs. Maybe he's got the takedown. He's got it. It's a big takedown there from Luke Kuma. Looking for some strikes here on the... now looking for side control to mount. Ain't able to get it. Big John might keep him down there for a bit. It looks like he's going to. Finally, they stand him up with about 4:20 left. Luke Como relaxing. Now rolling the shoulders, moving forward. Fitch with another takedown attempt. And again, Luke Como has just stopped every single attempt. Very little happening in the next minute. Luke Como now has got him up against the ropes. And he's got the takedown. Yeah, it's crazy how close it is on the betting lines because it is not close so far. It has been all Luke Como so far. Unable to finish him or really do a whole lot of damage, but he's just been winning the grappling battle. And when it comes to a fight against John Fitch, you gotta do that. If you have any chance of winning that fight, you gotta win the grapple battle. But Fitch comes out in the second, gets the single leg finally, his first takedown. Content just throw a couple punches to the body. He's just gonna lay and pray at this point. We all know what he's gonna do. Thank God Big John McCarthy stands him up. Looks like he's about to see a shot from, as far as from Como, but simply took the... Oh, no, rather, Fitch was looking for the takedown, but Luke Como simply took the initiative first. Does a punch but doesn't land. Relaxing the shoulders again. There's a left hand, and then a beautiful straight right from Luke Como. It's doing a good job of landing some shots standing-wise. Unsuccessful takedown attempt, also pushing down on his hands and knees. Could be a... Oh, yeah, several big shots here. Threatening to end the fight. There's a vicious kick to the ribs now. Cannot believe it that he didn't finish him there, but he fucked him up with that kick to the ribs. That is brutal. Luke Como, he has been the silent assassin so far in that second round. Wasn't a great start, as far as that last round, John Fitch doing his lay and pray, but once Luke Como was landing some shots there at the end, it picked up for sure. Fitch with a takedown attempt to start round 3, doesn't happen though. Fitch looking for a takedown, he's got him this time. Another lay and pray. Hopefully Luke Como can get him up. Oh man, come on John McCarthy, you gotta stand him up. He stood him up and now they're going right back down. God damn it. At least Luke Como's maybe got something now. It's not enough time. Luke Como wins by unanimous decision. I think that was the right choice. That's always a gamble when you got John Fitch. You might get a poor fight. And it happened there, but the Silent Assassin pulls out the win and Luke Como making that 17-3. As he makes an apology to the crowd for making him sit through such a bad bout. Yeah, that was all his opponent's fault, too. It wasn't even his fault, but Mitsuya Yoshida versus Joe Daddy Stevenson, our co-main event, as 16-5, 18-7, the lightweight contest, Crazy B for Mitsuya Yoshida, plus 270, minus 340 for the Death Clutch Gym member and Joe Stevenson. Jason Herzog's a referee. Round 1 begins. Yoshida aggressively moves in and grapples with him, trying to get him up against the ropes. Can't do it, though. Ends up being out-wrestled over the trip. Not happening either. Yoshida back in control. Stevenson out-wrestles him. They are just going to go back and fucking forth here, it looks like. Yoshida's got him now against the ropes, looking for the takedown. He's got the single leg. Great job by Yoshida. Looking for the armbar from the bottom. Not happening, though. As a low lay and pray from Mitsuya Yoshida. Boy, that's what we get for putting both Yoshida and John Fitch on the same card. Stevenson looks to get control of the clinch now, looking for the takedown. Can't get him down. And manages to get him up against the ropes. Drops the opponent. Yeah, looking for the dropping down, looking to wrap his arms around his opponent's legs, looking for the takedown. He's got it as well. Man, Joe Stevenson, just, he's not the same guy. He's just not that same guy. Much like we've seen with Dennis Allman. They are just not the same guys that they were when they started. As two fighters get up close to wrestling for position, Stevenson maybe looking for the takedown. He's finally got the takedown. Owing some right hands. It's not enough, though. First round was interesting, because Stevenson went for takedown after takedown after takedown. Couldn't get until literally the last seconds of the round. But Ishida, he got his takedowns 2 for 2, landed his shots. Hopefully we get a more exciting round in the second, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Stevenson's got control now, looking to take him down. Unsuccessful, though. They're going to battle for takedown supremacy. Not happening. Got him up against the ropes now. Ishida is now in control. Both fighters work their way in close. They get into a clinch. Stevenson looking to get him up against the ropes. They're just too bit of a stalemate here, which is interesting since he's a plus 340 favorite, but Stevenson's been out-wrestled pretty much this entire fight. Another takedown attempt that gets stopped. Stevenson gets a takedown. Finally, we get a takedown, and it's the end of the second. Doesn't posture up, just wary of his opponent's submission attempt like that. Looking for an armbar from the bottom. That's not happening, no. And, boy, a tough round to really gauge. I mean, Joe Stevenson's like 2 for 10 on takedowns. Not great percentage. We'll see what happens in the final round. Gressler gets the dominant position. Does Stevenson now looking to try and take him down. He's got the takedown. Passes half guard to get side control. It's a scramble. Stevenson's still on top, though, side control. It's a good round for him. It's a good round. He's in control. He's landed some shots. He's keeping him down there. They're not standing him up. Off balance is Stevenson off the knee strike to the ribs. And the scramble begins. Stevenson is up first, but Ishida immediately drives him against the ropes. If he gets a takedown here, does Ishida, this could really be interesting. Thank God Stevenson blocks it. I think Stevenson did enough. We'll see what the judges think. They give it to Ishida. That's a tough loss for Joe Stevenson. Looking at the fight metrics, I could see potentially as far as he did land more shots, he did have a better percentage, but I felt like Joe in the third round had that round. The second round was close. I would have still gave it to Stevenson, but then obviously the first you have to give it to Ishida, so there you're just kind of fucked over by losing out on that first round. Tough break, but at least it was an average fight, but I cannot believe Joe Stevenson lost that one, though, at the same time. So what an upset in the co-main. Mitsuhiro Ishida thanks everyone connected Crazy Bee for helping prepare for the fight, and a sponsor supporting financially. He's asked if he'd like to fight next. The answer is he still is keen on the fight with Josh Neer and hopes that gets arranged soon, as Tara La Rosa taking on the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler, in our main event. Plus 100, minus 130. Shayna Baszler, their favorite. Of course, looking for a rematch win. Jason Herzog's our main event referee. Ringside judges. Shayna Baszler obviously looking a little heavier than what she weighed in at 145, probably fighting 155, maybe even 160. They touch gloves, though. They wrestle. Dominant position. Does Baszler have? Looking for the trip, looking for the Kimura. Measure, that was it. Just 30 seconds. Looking for the Darce choke here, and she's got it. Holy shit. Shayna Baszler is not fucking around. What a Darce choke, and what a finish for her, getting her 13th win. I mean, listen, Vanessa Borto is such a savage, though. It's crazy, but that was a great performance for her. Interesting that it was a pretty good card up until the John Fitch performance and the Mitsuhiro Ishida performance. Just unfortunate there, but man, what a main event. We decreased the popularity just about everywhere, so that was, as far as from that perspective, was not a success. But yeah, we gotta give love to Shayna Baszler. What a win. Give some love to Ishida, give some love to John Jones, to Petrozelli. It was a hell of a win, though, for John Jones to knock out Dan Anderson like that. Not a whole lot of guys can say that. That will do it for Volume 3 of the Live in the USA Worldwide tapings. As now we're going on to the next show. The very next night to see how that main event's going to play out, though, because that is a Mirko Cro Cop Tim Sylvia main event. That is massive. Massive main event. I'm trying to think what... Oh, yeah, Dean Thomas, Josh Neer's on that card. Cristiano Marciello, Toby Mata, Vanderlei Silva, and Lee Murray's on that card as well. This is a crazy card to have on a worldwide taping. You have a lot of former champions there. Dean Thomas, Toby Mata, Vanderlei Silva, Mirko, obviously. Thiago Alves and Carlos Condon's a crazy fight, too. That's a hell of a card. What's the prelims? Ferguson and Kawajiri's on the card. Alex Schoonover, Guy Metzger. Alex Schoonover always has good fights, so that should be a fun prelim. Yeah, that's an exciting episode to watch out for episode 152. But episode 151, it's in the books. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. Take care, everyone.